Hi, I'm Guy Armstrong, and we want to take this occasion to talk about a retreat that we'll be doing for IMS Online.
And I'm Sally Armstrong, and we were originally going to do a month-long retreat at the Forest Refuge for experienced students, but given the current situation with the virus, we've come up with this online alternative that we actually think will give a lot of opportunity and benefits for experienced students to develop and deepen their practice at home. And because the intention is a retreat for experienced students, people who are sitting the retreat will have had some residential retreat experience, and this will give them the opportunity to bring that experience into their home environment and to really create a supported and structured retreat for a week of fairly intensive practice in their home environment.
The retreat is going to run from September 1st to 8th, the first week of September, and it's called The Still Heart of Awareness. Now, while that might sound like just a nice marketing jingle, actually each of those words has a definite meaning for what we're wanting to teach. Because it's an experienced students retreat, we want to teach something a little beyond what the normal Vipassana retreat offers. So each of these words, still, heart of awareness, conveys one of the themes that we're going to touch on. So the first word, still, really refers to the quality of concentration in meditation. We'll start with a few days practice of mindfulness of breathing that's oriented to developing concentration in particular. Then the word heart is going to refer to the development of the factor of loving kindness, or metta, which we'll introduce after a couple of days. And hopefully that feeling, that the arousing of those heart qualities will continue through the rest of the retreat. And then we'll conclude with a section stemming from this word awareness. And here we're going to use awareness to mean the quality of being conscious, or as a synonym for consciousness. This is something that's not often pointed to in Vipassana instructions in a usual retreat, but we have found it a very, very useful way for experienced students to practice. So those are the three elements that we'll touch on over the days of the week's retreat.
And each of those elements that Guy just described has a function or has a role. And often we will do retreats on each one of those individual aspects of practice. So concentration retreats or metta retreats or awareness retreats. And in each of them, say the concentration retreat, spending 10 days or even longer, really systematically developing that capacity of mind, it's always impressive how beneficial that is for people's practice. And the same with the metta practice, to really turn the heart and mind to the developing of this beautiful quality of kindness or friendliness or goodwill, gives a strengthening and a resilience to the heart that in these days I think will be really beneficial. So in doing intensive retreats on these two aspects, I've found for myself and the students I've taught a huge amount of benefit and a clarity that comes, or a skill that comes, about how to bring those qualities and those techniques into their broader meditation practice and experience.
I've taught a number of retreats just on the theme of awareness, and they've also been very rewarding for participants. Most of our Vipassana instructions give the meditator the guidance to focus on a particular aspect of the experience we could call an object, a sight, a sound, a sensation, a thought, an emotion, and so forth. When we turn to awareness itself, what we're doing is looking at the knowing capacity of mind, the consciousness that's taking place moment by moment that illuminates or reveals each of those objects of our experience. And this turns out to be a really helpful way for a meditator to gain spaciousness, perspective, and some degree of freedom in relation to the immediate experience.
And so the idea is that the first part of the retreat builds up these qualities of the stillness, of the concentration, the warmth of the metta, and then infuses that into these awareness practices. So they each have a role to play. It's like a triangle. That's one of the most resilient and flexible forms. So we found teaching in this way, we did a whole month-long retreat last year teaching these three aspects, and people found it very beneficial. But as I said, in designing an online course, it's obviously different from doing it in person, but there's something in the opportunity here of expanding the teachings internationally, and we've devised a schedule that will support people's practice, hopefully wherever they are. We're doing 3 teaching sessions a day. They'll be recorded, so if that particular time doesn't work for you, you'll be able to access the recording at a later time. But we've chosen times that definitely work well for the US and hopefully other places as well. So we'll do a morning meditation instruction. We'll do a late morning, and again, I'm talking California time, so it might be different from where you are, but later in the day, a Q&A session where we'll be responding to students' questions. And then after that, a few hours later, a Dharma talk where we'll cover the themes of the retreat and give some thoughts and reflections on practice. In between that, we will provide you with a suggested schedule for your own practice at home. So you really have the opportunity of creating a supportive retreat environment in your home, with the flexibility of doing it in your home with the conditions that you have in your home. So we'll be talking about that, how best to create the retreat environment and how to really practice in a way that's interactive and inclusive and relevant to your life and your situation.
Just one more thing I want to mention about this retreat. As Sally said, we were originally going to teach it as a month-long retreat at the Forest Refuge, and I have to say we were a little bit attached to that length of time. So the online retreat format will just be for 7 days, September 1 to 8. But we're going to add a 3-week extension where we'll do 1 teaching a day, but we get to take Sundays off. We all get to take Sundays off. And it will encourage you to keep developing the themes of practice that we introduced in the first week over the rest of the month of September. This will be an optional piece. So you can sign up for the 7-day without taking on the extension. But if you feel that you'd like to carry on those themes, we'll be giving more instructions, more talks, and more question and answer sessions to unfold more detail about how to practice with all the elements that we introduced in the first week. If that fits into your life, it'd be lovely to have you join for the week or for the month. And they are 2 separate pieces, but it'd be wonderful if you were able to join for the whole thing.
So we look forward to connecting with you. I know many old students are joining this retreat and hope you'll be able to join us as well.